Well, I've never had an intro like this. Literally just getting myself ready to set up blogging, and I've had this little character. Pretty good. For those of you who have been following, this is going to be my first blog of Thatchers Island, my own carp fishery. So howdy, welcome back. Been a while, has it not? So I've had it pointed out to me that I haven't been online or blogged for quite a long time, and that is true. Basically because number one, I really haven't been bothered to be able to get in front of the camera. Just haven't had the time or the energy. And the other one is I've been concentrating my efforts on my fishery and been trying to get the basics right, which I think so far has done quite well. This isn't really my part 4 of my documentary so much of what I've been doing. It's just basically a general fishing view to show you how the place fishes. As you just seen, I managed to just catch one, literally been here probably about an hour I suppose, set up in the swim. I was actually burning some rubbish behind me, just getting rid of the debris and the packaging that I've had from the fishery. So that's been all taken care of and burning away. And yeah, forgot to set the alarm, and all I could hear was zzz, going right across there, straight down that channel. So I'll show you where I'm fishing in a minute. I'm in the first swim, one of the first swims on the outside of the island. The island is over there, but I'm kind of like on the bank side at the moment in a swim called the boat swim. Call that boat this swim the boat swim because it's where I keep my boat. So I'll probably do a couple of days of filming just to show you, sort of like try and show you some of the fish, though it's not been fishing that well recently. I'll try and drag a few out though. The other day I did manage to catch, I'm sure some of you saw on my social media page, I put the biggest fish in this lake, which was 25 pound. That one came out at 28.6 2 days ago. So yeah, it's probably not much chance of catching that one, but 3.5 pound in weight gain in 6 months of being in here is pretty good going, really. That is pre-spawn weight, but when you think about it, you know, does it really matter? I don't think it does. That fish is going to be 28.6 this time next year at worst. So yeah, we'll see how they get on with growing and things like that. I have been keeping a record of the fish that I've been catching. So I've worked out now that we've got 6 fish that range from 20 right up until the 28.6 that I had 2 days ago. So there's 6 of them in here that are over 20 basically, and one that's approaching the 30 mark, hopefully by this time next year. The rest of them are sort of like the mid doubles. They are still growing, but they are growing at a rapid rate. I'm not going to go into too much detail of what I do, like feeding wise and stuff like that. I'll save all that for the documentary that I do. For those of you who want to know the ins and outs of how you run a fishery and all the rest of it that's involved with it, this place is still in the progress of, as you can see in the background, it's still growing up. It's nowhere near where it needs to be yet, but it is making steady progress. So I'll crack on now. I'll show you the spots where I'm fishing now, where everything's set up and what baits I'm using and how I'm going about it. Well, my virtual apologies again. When you build your own place, your work is never done. You always find something to do. But anyway, I am supposed to be fishing, but now that I've finished that over there, that's completely finished with. So this is what we've called the boat swim. Obviously because I've got the boat there. It's right next to my shed as well, which is where I keep all my stuff for the fishery. The house is right there, so I'm nice and close to just walk off and go and get my dinner whenever I want. We've got like the gate here, so obviously, as I said before, everything's fenced here. We've got an electric fence going all the way around, and that follows all the way around the lake, and that's meshed up with I've got a stock fence, and in behind that is a load of sort of like chicken wire, if you like, but it does the job. It's all pinned down to the ground as well, so nothing can get underneath it. But the main point of it is the electric line. Anyway, so these are the swims. Obviously they're all gravel path now. I've got to do some spraying on the grass on the path because there's no matting or anything underneath them, but I just keep them sprayed up, and that alleviates any problems. So this is what we've got. You get a nice big area, enough to get a bivvy on there. Like I've got my brolly on there at the moment, and yeah, that's the kind of like swim size you can expect to see here. So nice and roomy. Gravel swims, gone for the gravel rather than the like the wood chipping or anything like that. Just think it's a lot cleaner. So now I'll show you where I'm fishing to. You'll have to excuse me if I'm doing anyone's head in. I do have a bit of ring rust doing this. Haven't done it for such a long time. Right, so rod number 1, which is my left-hand rod, is over in this corner over here. If I zoom in down there, you'll be able to see planted a little set of lily pads. They're quite young, but they're spread out through the years. I think I've had 3 or 4 over there now. I've done a few fish out of that area before, so yeah, I've decided to go for that. It's probably only about 2 or 3 foot over there. It's kind of like 2 or 3 foot all the way around this margin area, all the way around here, and all the way around sort of like the edge of the lake down here as well. Zoom out a bit. There we go. So yeah, 2 or 3 foot all the way down around here as well. And then as you go, the further you go out, the more it slopes off. So right up in that far corner, you've probably got about 8 foot of water. So that's where the left-hand rod is. The right-hand rod is, or the middle rod, sorry, is where I managed to pick up that fish, which is just over where that marker is over there. You can just see it on the end of the island. I just put a marker out there just to enable making sure I get it bang on the spot. It's probably about half a rod length off the island at the bottom of the slope there, and there's probably about 6 foot of water there. Fish has just gone through there as well. And the right hand rod is fishing right in front of the bridge. You can't see it at the moment, but there is a single lily pad out there somewhere. You can't really see it in the wind, but yeah, there's another set of lilies as well, just planted just in front of that bridge. And on the other side as well, there is another set of lilies. So that's the places where I'm fishing, and probably will be throughout the rest of the session. I have to say, it feels oddly strange doing a blog, even though I do them all the time, or I did do them all the time. Don't know, I'm just finding it a bit weird. Maybe it's because this is my own like back garden, I don't know, essentially. But right, bait wise, nothing more or nothing less than a Ye Olde Faithful solid bag. Any kind of colour works really. I've just got a mixture of pellet in there and a bit of the krill active mix that's, I think Stockies do it. But any kind of bait works in here really. I've had them on pretty much everything that there is going. But I'll be using the pellet that I use to feed the fishery with, basically because I've got it here and it's a really good pellet. So at the moment, now that we're into the warmer temperatures, it's been really warm over the last 2 weeks, and we've managed to get the water temperature above 15 degrees. So that means that the fish go on to a higher protein diet, which consists of this stuff. This is the Ala Aqua Best. It's about 38% protein, so it may be a little bit early to put them on it yet, but I've got a ton of it, so literally. So I was like, well, I might as well just start feeding them this, you know, and give them a bit of an early start and get them used to the feed. They seem to really like it. They do eat a lot of it, so yeah, as I said, I won't go into feed rations and things like that I do. I'll do all that in my other one, but that's what I'm going to be using, just basically pellet and a solid bag. Howdy again. So it is now around about 9 o'clock. Doesn't look like it in the background, but the light is actually starting to fade away a little bit. So I'll probably leave it here for today. Unfortunately, haven't had any more fish, which is quite normal for this place at the moment. can be a little bit hit and miss. There's only 54 of them in here, so that makes it quite difficult. They also came from another water previously before this, rather than a fish farm, so they are a little bit wary as to, you know, baits and rigs and things like that. They're not riggy fish, but they definitely know when someone's on the bank, I think. So yeah, I'll leave it here, and then hopefully during the night we might get some action, depending on what happens. Usually I do get a bite in the night at some point, so fingers crossed. Well, good morning. It's 4:30, or just gone 4:30 really. Yeah, like clockwork. Just had another one. Got a bit of spawn damage on it, so whether or not it's spawned out yet or not, I don't know. Looks like it has. Alright. Let's have a look. Look at that. Nice little fully. Just when... God, I'm half asleep, I don't really know, I can't remember. About 14, I think it's £14. I'll check my scales again in a minute in the memory by the time I zero the sling. I think it was about £14. I've got a record of all the fish that I put in, so I'll check the record against what it went in at, because I can imagine it's put on a bit of weight since then. So I'll have a look at that a bit later on when I'm awake. I'll probably after I've had a cup of tea this morning. Yeah, I've got a couple of like this, but yeah, I do love a fully, so I've got a couple of them. Look at that, lovely little shape to it, and that's going to grow up to be quite a nice fish. Right, I'm going to treat this with a bit of the propolis that I've got. Get them wounds doled up, and then get her back. Well, that's a turn up for the books. I just put that fish back. I thought, right, I'll just have a quick hour in the bag again, and yeah, no chance. Middle rod again. I've literally just put it out. It's probably been out for about 10 minutes, and already it's gone. And to be fair, this feels like a better fish. Just plodding along. Strange, because this never really happens. Usually I've been averaging probably about 2 fish a session, so already I'm up. So hopefully this is one of the ones that I haven't had yet for the camera. Yeah, definitely plodding around. Right, I'm going to concentrate on getting this fish in, and I shall see you in a minute on the bank, hopefully, with it on the map. Right, got this one on the map now, and it was a better fish. And even better news, it's another 20. 20 pounds and 2 ounces. Oh. So that's another one to add to the tally that's just come up. So that's 7 fish at £20 now, and they're out of out of the upper double bracket that we stocked a lot of 17s, 18s, so they've just come up now, and yeah, £20, 2 ounces. No damage on this one, like the other one that had a little bit of scuffing to it, but I haven't seen any spawning, so could be wrong. But yeah, there we go. Hey, 7 fish over 20. You can't grumble at that for a new lake. This one showed just as I was putting the other one back. This one showed over the spot. Was all on the, both been on the middle rod, so they're clearly on the munch over there. So right, get her back and get it back on the spot and see if I can actually get an hour's sleep. Maybe. Well, I thought I was going back to bed for an hour again, and turns out the fish have got other ideas. Just had this one. It's only one of the little stockies, but it's a fish. About 8 or 9 pound. Probably got a handful of these. Probably about, I think, around what was it, about 8 or 9 of them or something like that. I counted in the single figures. Yeah, just little stockies really, just to bring the numbers up, keep the fish moving around, and yeah, nice little linear. Lost one of his scales during the fight, so I'll put a bit of the propolis on that in a minute. But yeah, pretty nice little fish. Again, hopefully grow up into be a absolute beast. Right, I'm gonna get it back. Good morning, good morning. The kettle is on. That is Thatcher. That's why this place is called Thatcher's Island. Right, it's 8:30 now, and it's gone pretty quiet. I managed to go back to bed for an hour or so. You never really sleep, so you like kind of like semi-conscious. Didn't really hear any fish, and I didn't have any more activity on the rods. So quite a little small flurry of fish there, but 3 fish within the space of half an hour, and a new 20. Take that. So yeah, so we now have 7 20s, which is great. So today I have no idea what's going to happen during the day. It's now blowing a southwesterly, so the wind is coming straight into me now, and we'll see what happens with that. That may change things around. That may get the fish moving around in different directions. So yeah, daytime wise, it hasn't really been doing too many bites during the days, but as the seasons are going on now, that's kind of like changing a little bit. So like obviously like in the daylight hours, like 4:30 in the morning now, as you saw, it's daylight, so that may make a difference to you know, the way things are fishing, but for now I'm gonna make my cup of tea, kick back, have some breakfast, and chill out, I suppose. Just noticed something. One of the awesome things about like using things like pellet and stuff like that is this kind of activity here. Can you see that out there? Well, that's kind of like where the baited spot is, out and around there. If you look down here, you can see this, like, it's like an oil slick that comes off of the pellet. I mean, look at that now, Jesus Christ. Definitely something feeding out there now. So yeah, that's kind of like wherever I can use pellet, I use pellet because it's such a good bait. It's so underrated. Everyone's, you know, these days, especially in the media world, everything's boilies, boilies, boilies. But actually, a pellet is a far superior bait for fishing in the right situation than a boilie is. Just because, number one, it's a lot. You can get a lot more nutrient into a pellet. Um, Secondly, it's cheaper as well in the long run. Um, I appreciate you can't always use them everywhere you go because you've got silvers and stuff like that. But when you come to like places like this, a pellet is a massive, massive edge, especially when that's like what they're fed as well. Like as like you know, that's all they're ever reared on is pellet. So it works really, really well, and it's a really, really good attractor bait as well because it breaks down a lot quicker than things like boilies and such. So yeah, but I just thought I'd point that out that like you know like you get like the oil slick off the pellet. Even like I mean this pellet's probably I think it's about 15% oil, but even with the low stuff, you know the low oil pellet and things of that nature, you'll still get the same effect because it still has that oil content. But yeah, I just thought I'd show that. It's quite interesting. Good evening, YouTubers. I bet everyone's missed me saying that line. So, unfortunately, it's been a really uneventful day. I've had a few liners, but I haven't had any kind of takes whatsoever. I did think about putting a zig out earlier on, but to be honest with you, I got quite lazy with it and decided to just lie on the bed instead. So, yeah, I promise you that I haven't done any work around the fishery today. I've just been doing fishing stuff. Just sat here. I actually feel quite guilty about it because I'm supposed to be getting things done. But you got to take a break every now and again and try and, you know, make a blog because I never do it anymore. So I need to put more effort into that. So the rods are down. Well, they were down there. I don't know whether you can see them or not. Nope. So there they are. So rods are here. I've just reset everything. New fresh baits, new bag, and a couple of scoops of pellet all around the spots. So hopefully tonight we'll get us a little bit more action. Be nice to have a nice little flurry like we did, but we'll see what happens. Now, there is one thing that I've got to mention during this blog, and I'm afraid that is going to be that there is no weekend wife box. Unfortunately, I didn't tell the missus with enough warning that I was going to be doing this. I just decided on the spur of the moment that I was going to be doing it, and it's not the weekend. It's midweek, so you can't do weekend wife boxes in a week. So that's my excuse anyway. Apologies to everyone. I'm really, really sorry. But she has gone out for a meal tonight anyway because it was her birthday on Sunday, and so she's gone out for a meal with all her little chums. So yeah, left me stranded, but she did make me tea before she went. So I just ran up to the house and had that. It was quite nice. So there you go. That's all I've got to tell you really. I'm going to get off this camera because I'm gibbering, and hopefully during the night we'll have a fish. Good morning, YouTubing. First cup of tea of the day. Can't go wrong. So, unfortunately, last night was a very, very quiet night. I was really expecting it to go again, but the temperature seemed to dip right down. It got down to about 5 degrees in the end, so much so that I had to put my hoodie on when I went to bed. So, yeah, I don't know whether or not that made a difference to anything, but it's a nice sunny day again. Difficult carp conditions again. You can see here, caught the sun over the last couple of days just from being outside. So we'll see what happens. I've seen a couple this morning, but just milling round on the surface really. No real feeding activity. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've gone from like a carp filled blog to no fish. Rubbish. Never mind, such is life. Right then, I've come to the end of the session. Not a lot has happened all day, and it's about 2:30 now, so time to reel the rods in that are behind me and crack on with some work. I've got some spraying of the otter fence to do today. While the weather's good, you can get these jobs done, so I can't really miss out on the opportunity of that, and I haven't done anything for a day and a bit, and like I say, it makes you feel a bit guilty. So yeah, at least we got some fish in the blog. As I said, this swim is the boat swim. I have 3 other swims built so far apart from this one. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably do blogs in every swim, just so you can see what the swims are like, the depths and the space that you get and things like that. So right, I shall leave it here until next time. Tight lines, and yes, I'll see you again soon, rather than 6 months later or however long I left it since I did an actual blog. Ta-ta!